Everything Chris. Everything Chris. Everything Chris. Everything Chris. Everything Chris. Everything Chris. Everything Chris.
Yeah.
The England team, man. Talk us through that. By the way, if it logs us out, we'll just come back in again.
Yeah. No worries.
Yeah, so if it logs us out, we'll come back in again.
Yeah. The England team, obviously, it's probably like the biggest honour you can have to represent your country, you know. So
yeah.
But it also opened my eyes up to a lot what I can do with my career, because I always had bad knees, right? And it's funny enough, that season in Essex Pirates, I got sent to a world-renowned professor or whatever, and he actually told me I had arthritis in my knees, and he said I only had 2 more years left to play.
Yeah.
So it was like, I was just not hearing it. I was like, nah, I'm playing, you know, I'm just going to play.
Regardless.
Yeah, so, but when I got to the England team with Paul James, and I realised the workload that you have to do, like Paul James would do a 3-hour practice session of like full speed before playing a game later on in the day. Picture this, yeah? So my knees are bad anyway, and I'm having to chase around Ogo and Justin Robinson at practice for 3 hours and then expect to go and play a game. Like, that's not fair. That's not fair. You know, so, but it kind of made me think like, maybe my knees won't allow me to play at the highest level, you know?
Yeah.
But I can just do what I can do, like, with basketball, whatever it gives me, sort of thing. But it was a wicked experience. We went to France. We played in a tournament against like Ivory Coast and all these African countries, and that's another story. Like at this
Africa's big over there, man.
At this time, right, coaches were starting, like, especially with Tim Lewis at Essex Pirates. He wanted me to become like a combo guard, so I become a point guard as well.
As well as shooting guard,
yeah. So I was playing point guard for England because Justin and Ogo, they left to join their next club or something, and we played.
I think they were going to America back then.
Yeah, it might be in America. Yeah. So we played Ivory Coast, and when I tell you, they had this point guard that would literally D you up 94 feet the whole game, right? And for me, like, my fitness levels were not up to the scratch. Like, that was one of my worst games, you know what I mean? It was one of my worst games. Like, I was turning over the ball, the guy was in my face like that, and I used to like talking crap as well, but I was like, I can't even say anything to this guy. This guy won't even let me over the half court, you know?
Yeah.
So it was tough, man, but I had like a really good game against Lithuania when we nearly beat them by 6. I think they beat us by 6.
Oh yeah,
we nearly beat them.
Shooters,
and I had
man.
a really good game. Yeah, and at this time, like, I was getting harassed by the coach at Plymouth Raiders, right? When I tell you, this guy was calling me off the chain while I was on England camp, all of this. He's like, we've got this amount of money for you. I was like, nah. And again, Plymouth Raiders. And again, at this time, I had a really good friend. We call him Uncle Keith, but he used to play in the BBL, and he kind of acts like an agent for people, but just out of his own time, sort of thing. And he was like, don't take nothing less than $3,000. Don't take nothing less than $3,000. If you do that, you're just you're killing yourself. So he kept on calling me. Got to a figure I was happy with, and then I signed for Plymouth Raiders. But that was probably one of my worst decisions, because I had offers from Guildford, Heat, or Surrey Scorchers, because Creon was there. Sheffield Sharks, Atiba Lions was like interested in taking me. But I heard about Plymouth and how good it was. So I chose Plymouth, and the money was good. So, you know, when I went there, it's different down there. I'm telling you.
I've been there before, you know. I've been to...
That's like...
Is that? Yeah, I went there before because Ishmael mentioned it. Ishmael said, because it's the only professional team they got there in Plymouth. He said Plymouth basketball is like the thing there, man. So they got a big fan base.
Even when they were D1, they weren't even BBL before. They're D1. They used to sell out their crowd, and they had a good facility. But it was like you were a Premiership footballer. We'd come back from a game in our tracksuits, and we'll walk into the most plush club, like in our tracksuits and stuff. It was like that. It was like that.
Damn.
So I really enjoyed it at the start. And basically, my first 2 games I top scored, right? Our first league game, I hit a game winner to win the game against Worthing. So I was doing well, you know. And then all of a sudden, like player coaches, some of them are good and some of them are like...
Oh, you had a player coach then?
Yeah, it was a guy that used to play at Plymouth as well. And like everyone knows, I like to go out, innit? So we used to go out a lot, you know. But I started getting blamed for things that I weren't even doing. Like, Tanner, why was there a house party and rare? And I was like, it's not even at my house. Like, I weren't there. Like, how am I getting blamed for it? And then me and the coach started like butting heads. And I remember there was a game, and it was our first Sky Sports game for Plymouth anyway. And it was against Creon and Surrey Scorchers. And he dropped my minutes from 35 to 14. And for what reason, I don't know. Because if you're going to do it because I'm playing rubbish, then fair enough. But I was playing good. I was leading in like assists and points at that point, like for the team.
Yeah.
So after the game, it nearly blew up. Like it nearly come to blows. Like I was angry. Like I'm passionate, like about certain things.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, you take responsibility. If you're not playing good, fair enough. You take responsibility. But if you're playing good and you're winning or you're doing something, you know what I mean? Like, how are you gonna just bench, man? I don't get that.
Exactly. So what ended up happening is I left there, and then I went back to Essex Pirates, and Essex Pirates at that point hadn't won a game the whole season. So I was like, do you know what? Like, let me just go back there and then stack up my stats and see if I can get out after that.
Yeah.
And then went back. We won a couple of games, but it wasn't the same. You know, I got Wally to come back, and Sam Tolawasi was still there, but it wasn't the same. So that was when I was like, do you know what? I'm about to take a hit again. Like I did with Essex Pirates, I took a hit and got a move to Plymouth. But I was like, I'm going to do this in Europe. So Walid had an agent, and he played in Serie C a couple of seasons before he came. So I hollered at the agent, and he got me a team in Serie C, which is a low division. But I was like, I just want to get out there. Do you know what I mean? Just get out. I think
get your name out there,
talking about that as well, wasn't he? He was like, he went to a lower league.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
So
he went to a lower team in Germany as well. He just basically, like you're saying, get the name out there and get your stock up a bit.
Yeah. So I went over there, and then I'm not gonna lie, it was boring, man. Like, because where I was in like a little town just outside of Milan, but people didn't speak English. I remember the first day I got there, I went for a walk. It was like a ghost town, and then I was like, boy. And then I saw my team, and I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know about this. The team was dead team.
Damn.
There was no one. So I ended up like, I led the league in scoring and stuff like that.
That would have been a good idea, though. Yeah.
Yeah. So I got lucky again, and I was at home, and I stayed with my teammate, and my teammate was a bit younger. I was sleeping, and I heard like an English accent. So I was like, why is there an English guy in my house? Like, what's going on? So I went out, started speaking to him. He knew everyone that I knew. And apparently he was an agent for quite a big agency. They're called 2 Points Agency. So I know they represent Justin, they represent all these different people. And he was like, listen, like, let me come to watch one of your games. So I was like, all right, cool. So he come, and me and him just become friends. So then he started taking me like into Milan, like the real Milan.
Oh, okay, so you went in, so he took you to places. Yeah.
Yeah, he started taking me out, like we were going out with the Olympic Milan team, and like I made friends, and like he got me a tryout at A2 squad. So it's like
A2.
Yeah, it's A2 in Milan, and I did well, and then ended up getting picked up, and that's when your salary goes. Let me just tell you something as well. C2, right?
Yeah.
I made just as much money in C2 as I did in the BBL, and that's their 5th league. That's
their 5th league.
Yeah. So
wow.
But then when I went to the A2 team, the money went from like here to, I was just like, wow, I don't even know what to do with this monthly salary sort of thing. Like,
say that way.
You don't have to pay for anything. They pay for your house. Everywhere you go are sponsors.
They take care of you.
Everything Chris. Everything Chris. Everything Chris. Everything Chris.